Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, we had Narancia's Lil Bomber. You gotta make sure there's no T's in that at all, or an E, specifically. Anywho. Narancia was still fighting Formaggio. We got his backstory where he was ridiculously set up for a crime, and then after that he was disowned by his hooligan brothers, and then he was found by Fugo, who brought him to Bucciarati, and Bucciarati took care of him, but didn't want him to become a mafioso, but he did become a mafioso, and then he killed Formaggio, and then they got back, and then they got another mission from the boss. They're going to get a vehicle to protect Trish, but Bucciarati, Narancia, and Mista are all going to stay at the vineyard and protect Trish, while Giorno, Fugo, and Abbacchio all head down to Pompeii. So, yeah, we're going to Pompeii. Like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so let's just go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. Okay. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So, good stands. Good, interesting stands here. Okay. How do I start this? Okay. We have the spectrum. The spectrum. I'm so glad I invented the spectrum, because this is so useful. We have the spectrum of sentient stands. We have the best example being Anubis. We have the worst example being Superfly. Where does Purple Smoke fall in that? I'm going to say he falls at about the same place that the 6 bullets do. In that it's autonomy, but also still part of... part of the person, you know? One thing we talked about with the 6 bullets was, even though I kind of jokingly said this, is that are the 6 bullets actually sentient? Or is it just that that's just how Mista works, you know? You know, is it just that Mista, like, he inadvertently controls the 6 bullets to be sentient, you know? And a part of that, I feel like, applies to Fugo and Purple Haze. Or Purple Smoke, I'm sorry. I will admit, I know that it's Purple Haze. So, I've seen that pop up. There's the channel, what is it, JoJo's Bizarre Sound Design, and Purple Haze does pop up every so often. I haven't watched it, obviously, because spoilers, even somewhat. But yeah, I know it's Purple Haze, not Purple Smoke. I still didn't know what on earth it did, and holy crap, that is a ridiculous, crazy, deadly stand, you know? Anyway. So, Purple Smoke, I'm going to say it the way the dub says it because we're watching the dub. Purple Smoke. The fact that it's, you know, it's all of Fugo's anger, his rage, his fury, it all manifests into Purple Smoke. So in that, there is a level of autonomy from Fugo. However, right now, it's specifically that Fugo can't control it, specifically, you know? He can't control it right now because he's trapped in the mirror world, you know? So, I would imagine if Fugo was there with Purple Smoke, like, it wouldn't just go, you know? Like, it would act as, you know, a normal stand would, you know? But it does have its own anger, so it's semi-autonomous, you know? And there is also a difference between that, where there's the level of autonomous, and then there's completely 100% sentient, you know? Because we have stands like Sheer Heart Attack. That's an autonomous stand, you know? It has some agency. It can move about on its own, but it's not its own thing, you know? It has its limitations. It is still bound to its user. And that is sort of the example I use for an autonomous stand. And an autonomous stand, I can get behind, you know? Star Platinum, to an extent, was autonomous because Star Platinum had the whole self-preservation, and it could go and it could get things for Jotaro, which it never did again, but whatever. Or, you know, it catching a bullet before it killed Jotaro. It has a level of autonomy, and in that, I'm okay, you know? I'm okay with that. It's the same thing, Star Platinum, you know, drawing the bug, or... honestly, I would say part of Hermit Purple, you know, finding information to tell to Joseph, or Hermit Purple playing the video game. Joseph doesn't know how to play a fucking video game, but Hermit Purple does, and that is a level of autonomy. And in that, there is a level of autonomy in Purple Smoke, and I am completely okay with that. My problem leans more towards sentience, you know? And again, we do have the spectrum. We have Anubis, which I'm completely okay with because there is very good reason and justification for why he is sentient. And then there's Superfly, which isn't even a stand. It's just a ghost that is, you know? But on that sort of side of the spectrum, here we go. I'm going to bring it up again. Is something like Reverb Act 3. Which is shit. It's just the second Koichi. And... I absolutely hate that, but we move on. So, yeah, if we're going by that, and you could almost say maybe Lil Bomber has a bit of autonomy as well in its flying, although I'm not sure. There were plenty of shots of Narancia specifically piloting it and finding the source of breathing, you know? But, yeah. Purple Smoke being at least somewhat autonomous, I am okay. I'm okay with that. An autonomous stand is okay. A sentient stand, you're kind of pushing it. But an autonomous stand, okay. I can live with that. And I like how, you know, again, part of that is, you know, it's... without Fugo there, it's just a lot of that rage that already exists in Fugo that's sort of moving Purple Smoke, but also his cleanliness, which is funny. You know, where it's like, oh, it's drooling, which is weird because a stand can drool, I guess. Granted, Star Platinum could breathe, so... Star Platinum could suck, so... I guess, you know, anything goes, but whatever. And hell, Magician's Red can make fire, so... doesn't matter. But yeah, but I like that it's like, oh, you know, it's so raging and it drools, and then it's, you know, struggling to, you know, clean itself off, and it's like, okay, that's kind of funny. I like that, you know? I still don't understand how the 6 bullets eat, though. How the fuck does that work? But whatever. But yeah, so Purple Smoke, a semi-autonomous stand of rage. Very, very interesting. And again, this is definitely, you know, Fugo's past, you know, it definitely informs his stand, you know, with everything, his temper, his anger. You can only assume that maybe in recent years it has gotten a little better, you know, because that it's more maybe more into his stand now than it is in him, you know. Yes, he still has a temper. When we first met him, he stabbed Narancia in the face with a fork. And here he got pissed at Giorno. But yeah, it's just... I don't know. It just seems, you know... I don't know. But I like that. I like that his past informs his stand. His past of nearly being molested. And honestly, I thought because they were going off of, you know, his temper and his anger, you know, all being bottled down... I really just thought for a second, I was like, oh my god, what if it's just that this guy was just trying to help him and then he just temper just snapped and that was it. But no, there was something actual there. There was something actual there and not stupid, and it was dark. And yeah, and then he just beat the shit out of him. And somehow they got the charges dropped. I don't know how the hell that happened. It was some rich family then. But then they disowned him. They disowned him, and he went about his life until he met Bruno Bucciarati. And again, I really like that. And at least in this episode, it shows, okay, why we have separate characters for Bucciarati and Giorno. But still, I still don't understand why you can't make your main character the really interesting one, you know? I don't know. But Giorno is still a really good main character, and I'm excited that next episode seems like while, Fugo is going to be dealing with Mirror Man in the mirror world, Giorno is going to try to help on the outside, So I at least like that, And I'm ready for more Giorno, because it has been a little while. It has been a little while since Giorno really did anything, because episode 5 was when they got on the boat. There was a bit with the Moody Jazz counterattack and a bit with 6 bullets, but I'm ready for Giorno to start doing stuff, So hopefully we'll get more of that. And hey, we saw Golden Wind, so that was good. Anyway, but yeah. So that was really interesting, and the whole thing too is that Bruno specifically, or not Bruno, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes all wrong. Purple Smoke, his stand ability is a virus that instantly kills any living creature, which is interesting. Now, it's also interesting that for some reason the crows are also falling into the real world, or the mirror world. That's kind of weird. I'm not sure why that happened, but whatever. But he has this deadly virus. Now, I like how they say that, pretty much, this virus doesn't last too long. Like, after a few minutes, the virus will dissipate just due to the elements. Even just indoor lighting will get rid of it. So, them being out in the Italian sun, yeah, that's gonna get rid of it. But still, it's dangerous when it's being used. So yeah, that's very interesting. And I like how, because they have the whole thing of his temper, he'll snap at a moment's notice. And I like that, yeah, if he attacks something, it will snap that, and then it will unleash this virus. So I like that there is still a bit of that in there too. So yeah. So we've got the virus of Purple Smoke, which is interesting. And yeah, and also Mirror World, very interesting stand. I like it, Now, how did this guy find them, Presumably this guy is part of the Hitman team. I think. I'm pretty sure he's part of the... Oh, God, excuse me. I'm pretty sure he's part of the Hitman team. So, how did he know? Like, was he following them? Because Formaggio didn't tell them. Well, I thought Formaggio wasn't able to tell. Like, he got killed. Narancia killed him before he told the Hitman team. So, how would they know about the vineyard, and how would they know about Pompeii? I don't know. I'm not sure, but oh well. I also just love going to Pompeii. I think that's a great setting for... we had all the way back in Battle Tendency, the original idea for WAMU and AC/DC with the the wedding rings of death for Joseph was they were going to go to the Roman Colosseum. They ended up not doing that. AC/DC attacked Lisa's temple or whatever, her base, and then they fought, I think it was in Switzerland or something. They fought outside of Italy at that point. But yeah, like they never went to the Roman Colosseum, and that would have been really cool, They did a chariot race and everything, but that still would have been cool to be at the Roman Colosseum. So again, I love that this is set in Italy, and yeah, we're in Pompeii. What a great place for a stand battle, Like, that's such a good location to do that. The City of Death, basically. So, that was really cool. And yeah, Mirror Man is a very interesting stand as well, you know? I like that it's a bit different. It's different from the Hanged Man, you know? It's taking someone into pretty much the mirror dimension from Doctor Strange. So, I like that. But yeah, and then the last thing I wrote down is Giorno is going to help Fugo. And I like that. I understand Abbacchio, especially with, you know, being terrified of purple smoke, but also just, you know, like, hey, we have a job. We have to do this for the boss. You know, we're just going to have to let him be. And if it were me, I would hope that you would go and leave me, you know, the same way. So I understand Abbacchio, but I also love Giorno, you know, being a Joestar. I mean, it's the exact same thing we had with Josuke last season. Is, yeah, he will stay and help no matter what because it's the right thing to do. Because he's a good man, you know? It's that going all the way back to Jonathan. He didn't get that shit from Dio. He gets that from Jonathan, you know? So I really like that. I really, really enjoy that. But yeah, so hopefully we'll get a bit more of Giorno in the next episode. And I do understand that, you know, the past number of episodes have all been about establishing the team. We've gotten backstory on all 4 of them now. So, you know, we got backstory on all 4 of them. We got big fights with them. So I understand sort of not having Giorno at the forefront, but I would like Giorno to be at the forefront. It's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, for God's sake. But this seems to be a problem that all of JoJo is going to have, you know? With the exception of Part 1 and Part 2, where it was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Of course, granted, those were the only 2 parts where they really genuinely called the main character JoJo, you know? They tried that for a bit at the beginning of Part 3, and then they just sort of dropped it, and it's like, nah, it's just Jotaro, you know? So, in fact, they only said JoJo once in all of Part 4, and that was at the beginning. It's like, oh, so Josuke Higashikata, I guess your friends call you JoJo. And nobody did that. Not even his mother. Nobody did that. And then, Part 5, nobody at all has said JoJo in the course of this season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you know? It's just a strange thing of why just be about JoJo. But I still enjoy this. Again, honestly, there really hasn't been a bad episode of Part 5 so far, and I don't know if I could have said the same thing about Part 4 at this point, you know? Like, it wasn't terrible by this point, but we were starting to get to that point of like, alright, what are we doing here, you know? Like, at least there's plot happening. Plot didn't happen in Part 4 for the longest time, so I'm I'm enjoying Part 5, and I'm very curious to see where we're going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist for all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.